Make sure this stuff works for once.
Get my calculator handy so I can math.
We gotta get all
Ew,
that thick
math.
math rocks, you know? Alright. Hello and welcome, dear patrons, to the Tables of Tartarus, a chapter of Purgatory Corner. Today, our storyteller is Benny from Autist DM on TikTok, and today we shall be continuing the tale of Oceans Ablaze. Come on in, take a seat, let your imagination run free. Benny, if you'd like to take the show.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me on. So, where we left off, as I recall, the party had been incarcerated and had managed to escape after failing to fulfill a contract that was itself probably illegal. So, not a great situation all around, but you managed to escape. You managed to take shelter at an inn. And I would like to go ahead and do our round of introductions. As you all know, I don't really enjoy the standard bland introductions. So, what we're going to do tonight is name, race, classes, because everybody has two since it's a Gestalt campaign. And what I'd like to know about your character is what is their worst trait or characteristic, and why don't they fix that about themselves? And we're going to go ahead and start with Locke.
Oh
Put
no.
me in the hot seat here. I'm playing Locke, the goblin artificer, artillerist, alchemist, mad bomber, and that one trait that he just won't fix. Everything's flammable, and if it wasn't flammable before, it just wasn't hot enough.
That's fair. So next up we have Signa.
Signa is an aberrant mind sorcerer and a fathomless warlock elf. And the one trait that she just absolutely cannot change about herself is her absolute superiority complex. She believes that she is the pinnacle of the universe and that the eldritch gods who have repeatedly warned her to stop talking down to them actually serve her.
All right. And next up we have Marina Oceanstar.
So, Marina is a Trident princess. She is a Circle of the Shepherd and College of Lore bard and, well, druid and bard. She is naive to the world in a sense and seeks out adventure based on stories of the past. And it's like, oh, this is how this will go. And she kind of expects that's how adventurers will act like, that's how they'll be, is based on the story she's grew up with. As seen recently, the goblins don't eat, not all goblins eat bread. And not everyone asks for surrender. So that's her flaw. She's basing life off of story. She's naive and doesn't have a whole control of things.
All right. And last up we have Ace.
Ace is a human hexblade warlock as well as a swashbuckler rogue. Probably his worst trait is that even though he can make connections with people, more often than not, he will decide to value their abilities or their value to the ship, or value to his life more than he will value the actual person. And the reason that he decides not to change this, mostly is just because he doesn't really care enough to think of it in any different other way. and he's never had a reason as to why it's a bad way of thinking.
All right. So where we left off, you had been given shelter for the night in one large room in an inn, and it's almost a dormitory situation. There's reasonably comfortable straw mats and basins to wash up in and all that kind of stuff, but it's you and about half a dozen pirates you've joined in, so it's, I'll say cozy would describe the quarters.
Mhm.
And we're not going into combat, but I would like for everybody to please roll initiative. And I'm using this to decide on what order something happens in.
Mhm.
19! The new dice are paying off.
Hey, nice.
Hey.
Mine's a +9.
I'm gonna use this.
Mine is a 19.
Okay.
Marina's is a 10.
Okay.
26.
Okay. So, Locke, you're going to wake up first. And when you wake up, what you find is that the place is actually a lot more spacious and a lot more comfortable than you recall. You're pretty sure that when you went to bed, it was straw mats. There was a little bit of food out for you all, some bread and cheese, stuff like that. And now everybody is asleep on soft couches. There's curtains pulled between them, so everybody has a little bit of privacy. There's plates of fruits and what smells like wine jugs, as well as water jugs and ale are there for use if you want it. It just the whole setup looks a lot nicer than you remember. You are the first one to wake up. What do you do?
So I'm going to take a few minutes and I'm going to just to check my surroundings a little bit here. I'm going to drop my goggles down and spin one of the rings on the lenses, and I'm going to ritually cast Detect Magic because something don't feel right, and I want to see if I can figure out what it is.
All right. So what your Detect Magic tells you is that this place is very magical. It's the whole area is infused with magic. I don't remember offhand what else Detect Magic gives you. If you have any other information you get from that, please let me know and I'll relay it.
It tells me the School of Magic.
The School of Magic would be, is it conjuration that creates things?
Okay.
Mhm.
And conjuration, and it's whichever one it is that draws things from other planes.
Right. I can see. I can see Ace nearby, right?
Yes, Ace and Signa, since you rolled so high, I'm going to say they're maybe just starting to stir both at the same time, but you are awake before them. You can, if you want to do something before they wake up, you can. Or you can just go ahead and wake them up and go on that way. It's up to you.
Oh, I'm 100% waking Ace up. I'm just jabbing him in the ribs. Ace,
Ow. What?
get the fuck up right now. Something wrong.
Uh,
This place isn't the same as it was last night. I don't like when the room changes around me.
That's odd.
All right, Signa, this commotion is waking you up as well.
All right, yeah, Signa. Signa, hearing that there's something strange going on, is going to attempt to use her magical expertise to discern exactly what is.
All right.
Would
What
that be
is
an
your
Arcana?
so before you roll, what is your Arcana score, and are you proficient in it?
I'm proficient, and my Arcana score is, or like, my modifier with my intelligence modifier as well would overall be +4.
All right. All right, so without rolling anything, you immediately recognize that what you're experiencing is fey magic, or not so much you're experiencing it, but what's created this place is fey magic of some kind. And if you want more detail, then you can go ahead and roll for it.
All right, I'll roll for it then. That's going to be a total of 16.
16, you seem to be in some sort of artificially created pocket dimension. You don't detect anything dangerous or hostile here.
Well, that's something. So yeah, I'm going to look to everyone else and say, well, we're not in Kansas anymore. No, we're strangely not on the same plane, but we're not in a different plane. We're in a pocket realm of some kind.
Well, as long as it's not dangerous, then it's a good hidey place from the authorities as any, I suppose. Let's double check that's not dangerous then. He's gonna like kind of sit up and see if there's like a way out. I'm assuming there's a door.
There is not.
Oh,
And
okay.
about the time you discover there's no doors or windows in this place and make the appropriate exclamation, I'm going to say that's what wakes up Marina.
Mm-hmm. She has awoken. You're muted, dear.
So Marina is going to slowly wake up and it's like, are you sure we're just not dreaming still? I feel like this isn't too real, right?
I go over and I slap her. Does it feel like we're dreaming?
Oh, what to do to you? Well, what to do to you? Marina takes in reaction, she'll get a bit of water into her hands and hit him with it. It's like, yeah, you're right. This isn't a dream because you wouldn't be in here.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
If you're
Now, if you'll
dreaming of
excuse
the
me.
poor goblin, you have an odd fixation.
You know, only adventures happen in my dreams, Captain. Well, Ace.
All right, so as all this is going on, some of your crew members are going to wake up, and despite their initial confusion, they're going to start eating and drinking from what's around. And you all have a few minutes to sort yourselves out before anything else happens. Do you want to try to make any kind of plan for when you get out of here? Do you want to go through the magic items you found the other day? What do you want to do?
That. I want to go through those magic items because I have Identify and I can cast it ritually.
Okay.
I'd probably put kind of grab my sword by its sheath and hold it out for you.
Gonna focus in with the goggles again, and the lenses will change another color. And after a few minutes, I'll ritually cast Identify.
All right. So this is actually a legendary artifact called the Sword of Dragon Slaying.
Ooh.
Against anything that's not a dragon, it's a regular sword. It's elven made, so it does have the finesse property.
Mm-hmm.
And against a dragon, it's +3 to attack and damage, and crits on a 19 or 20. And then if you have any ability like the champion fighter's ability where it would crit, it stacks.
Oh, wow.
Against anything that's not a dragon, as I say, it's just a regular longsword with the finesse property. And as it happens, this item is all but worthless because dragons have been extinct in this setting for hundreds of years.
Mm-hmm.
Are we sure no dragons are waking?
Huh.
Stirring
Sure.
it even.
The last time anybody in this setting saw a dragon was during the time of the collapse, and that was because a wizard turned himself into one. So unless an enemy
God.
happens to be very cooperative, not the most helpful item.
We go downstairs with a dragon stirring a pot in the kitchen. And then there was what? Goggles and a couple other things, right?
So the goggles are the goggles of depth sight. They don't do anything to the wearer's vision when they're above water, but when they're underwater, they grant you superior dark vision and an advantage on perception checks if you're underwater.
Mm.
That would be
So-
good to have just in case. For anyone
Yeah,
on the team.
I think I'll just like sling those around my neck, if you guys don't mind.
Ace would be
But of
perfectly fine with it.
course, gotta have a goggles friend for your other goggles. Marina teases.
I'll do some custom work on them.
Mm.
Make a magic.
Such a peculiar goblin. I can't wait to put you in a book. I'm sure many people be quite interested in the stories I'll tell when I get back.
Just remember to mark down how handsome I am.
Yes, because that's very important too.
Only
People
if
of the
she's
sea,
lying.
of course.
All right, and then the thieves' tools. I think the last item was the thieves' tools that you all had found, and they're enchanted so that whatever you roll when you use thieves' tools, you get +1, and you have advantage on the roll.
Mm.
So by and by, a door appears and opens, and the innkeep who you had met last night, who you saw her as a lady in a close-fitting hat. At one point, she took her hat off, and you saw that she had multicolored hair and pointed ears. At this point, she comes in, and she is no longer bothering to cover her hair and ears, and she just kind of flitters in. She's almost human size with fairy wings, and it's the kind of thing where the wings are going, but it's she's not moving entirely on the wings or entirely on her feet. It's kind of a combination. And she's going to inform you that one of your associates, the half-goblin Frack, who was of the pair Frick and Frack that you recruited yesterday, is downstairs and would like to talk to you.
All right.
Off we go.
Yeah, Ace will be getting up, putting the sword probably on his hip, and then giving Locke his short sword, his normal one. He would give Locke his normal short sword to put into his bag.
Just disappearing into the bag.
Yeah.
Before we go, I want to know more about the talking pocket knife that Cygna's got.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it is a +1 sentient dagger. And while Cygna has it out, it starts talking to you, and it starts telling you in pretty elaborate detail about who made it and where. It doesn't seem to have been made for any particular purpose. You get the impression that it was a talented magical blacksmith apprentice. So it's a +1 magical dagger that talks for some reason.
You know what? When we get back, I'll melt down a little bit of lead and pour it right into the mouth. It'll shut up.
Cygna the dagger is going to start talking to you as he's saying that, and just like, you wouldn't let him do that, would you? I mean, come on, I'm your buddy. We got out of that prison together.
Well, if you're useful, I will ensure that doesn't happen.
Okay, yeah, no, don't worry. I'll be the best knife ever.
don't
So
know how to. I don't know how to respond to that because never in my years of reading have I read that a weapon would speak and how you should respect it. That's I don't know if that's mean or not.
Do I
You're quite
look nice?
something, great friend.
Hmm?
Sometimes.
So the dagger is going to respond to that by saying, "Pouring lead in my mouth would definitely be disrespectful. That's not a thing you should do to friends."
Duly
And
noted. Not do
You
it to
and I
friends.
ain't friends like that. So, let's go meet Frick or Frack or Fuck or whatever it's called.
right. So you are led downstairs into the common room of this inn, which looks exactly as you remember it from the previous night.
Mhm.
And just to save anybody having to do any checks or anything, you're going to be as sure as you possibly can be that you're back in the actual real world that you came from. Now, as you're walking through the common room, it's the kind of thing where the innkeep is going to make a turn, and there's a door that you just didn't quite notice that leads into a rather small, rather dark room. Not dark as in pitch black, but dark as in candlelight with no windows. And Frack is sitting sort of just patiently waiting for you to come in, and he stands up as you enter.
Do you have any news?
Yeah, so Captain, here's what happened, Captain. We kept an eye on the boat, just like you said. As a matter of fact, my brother Frick is still there. He's still watching the boat, and the boat's okay, but some of the guards, they decided to take it out for a joyride. So they're sailing around the island right now. So, I mean, we could probably, if we could get out to the boat, we might be able to take the boat, but there's like 5 guards on it right now.
Ah. Well, then I feel very bad for them guards. So they ain't gonna be taking our boat for very long. Do you know where exactly they are, or do you have just a rough approximation?
I have a pretty good idea, and like I say, as soon as we have to go find my brother, but he knows exactly where it is because he's keeping an eye on it. So we find him, we'll find the boat.
Cool. I'll kind of look at the person who took us down here and go, are my crew good to go, or should they stay a little bit longer for their wounds?
So from what you can tell with the crew, the crew who you didn't know as well, she separated you and didn't let them into this little secret room. But you did get a little bit of a look at them when you were all waking up together, and they seem to be pretty much ready to set out.
All right, cool. In that case, I'd start rounding up the crew. Pretty much tell them that the boat's being taken out for a joyride, so we're going to do what we do best and steal things.
So as you're getting ready to leave, the innkeep is going to look at you, Ace, since you're the one who seems to clearly be in charge. And she's going to say, "Don't forget, you all owe me one favor to be collected at the time of my choosing."
Indeed.
And at that point, it was frickin' Frack who told you about this place. Frack is going to, his eyes are going to go pretty wide. I think Marina is going to be the one who notices this the most because you have the highest passive perception. His eyes are going to go really wide, and the innkeep is going to look at him and just very subtly shake his head, and his expression will return to normal, and he won't say anything.
Always
Marina
make
is
do.
going to respond with, "Do you guys know each other? By happy chance. I mean, it is a small area."
Well, yeah. I mean, the lady, I've stayed here before. My brother and I have stayed here before. Everybody knows that if you need a place to lay low, this is the place to go. And her rates are really reasonable. And she doesn't talk to the authorities. And if they're after you, she'll even put you in the special room like she did for you guys. And the innkeep will say, Yes, the authorities did come by. Somebody did see you all heading this way, but there was no door into the room where you were, which is why you were not found.
Ah, I greatly appreciate that. But I have a question, Frack. What did you give up though? Because she says there's a cost. Have you redeemed yours?
Oh yeah, I all the times I stayed here, I just paid in coin. I mean, that's the way most people do it. But you guys, you just got out of jail, and you didn't really have any money, so he's gonna look nervously at her. He's gonna say she very generously will only require a favor at some point.
Okay, that's quite odd. But
Well,
I'm sure it'll be fine.
we'll
whatever you
cross
say,
that bridge.
Captain. You have spent more years up here than I have.
Speaking of being, chased by the law, we're all pretty recognizable. We should do something about that. I mean, especially me. I don't exactly look like every Tom, Dick, and Harry on the street.
If someone has eyelashes they wish to volunteer, I could always make one listen.
You know what? I think I'm gonna go with maybe a little less painful of a route on that one. I start like trying to. I pull out my disguise kit and I start trying to make myself look a little bit more like Frick or Frack.
Mhm.
At least a little bit more gnome-like, I guess is where I'm going with this.
All right, so go ahead and make we'll call it a performance check.
All right, here we go. Let's see. All right. Well, I mean, it's probably not going to matter too much, but like every point counts, I guess. I'm proficient in the disguise kit, so that adds my proficiency bonus to the roll, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a solid 7.
All right. So, in your efforts to make yourself look like a gnome, you've made yourself look somehow more like a kobold than anything else. You don't look like you.
It counts. I'm good.
Did you do that? Kobolds have an entirely different bodily shape. Where did the tail come from?
I'm not an artist, okay? I make things go boom. That's my job.
Does anyone else want to do anything else before you set out?
Probably Ace would just make sure everyone's good and ready. But aside from that, he's pretty much good to go. He's not going to bother with disguise or anything.
Fair enough.
Marina would be fine as is, but will possibly wild shape later.
Okay.
Cygna's ready to go, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you all set out. It's mid-morning at this point, and all of the activity from the previous day has pretty much died down, which is good in the sense that guards aren't really out looking for anybody. You notice the earthquake that damaged the prison and facilitated your escape has also damaged the town, and that seems to be the bulk of everybody's efforts, is making repairs, helping the wounded, things like that, which works in your favor because it allows you to pass mostly unnoticed and therefore unchallenged. Frack leads you. Go ahead.
I will say I did not intend for the Elder Gods to create this much of a... I mean, I didn't intend for them to create any mess, but I'll need to give them a stern talking to.
Yeah, you do that. I'm sure they'll be listening.
All right. So Frack leads you to a relatively undeveloped part of the island, and you see Frick just kind of standing on the beach, staring out at the sea. And Frack pretty much knew exactly which way to go to find his brother, with more than what would have been more than just he was generally in this area. Like, he seemed to know exactly where his brother would be.
Hmm.
In any case, Frick is staring out at the sea, and you can see not that far out, maybe a quarter of a mile out, you can see the outline of the Morning Star.
Yeah. How
Well,
you
there's our
doing?
ship.
Yeah. How you doing, Frack?
Oh, I'm great, Captain. Yeah, the boat's right there. I kept an eye on it, just like you said. I managed to avoid getting caught by the guards. I'm going to look at Locke and say, what the hell is that?
It's my disguise.
I could do something similar. And Marina's gonna cast Disguise Self, and she's gonna be like a female version of Ace.
Well, that's unnerving.
A human!
Well, aren't you fancy schmancy?
I am. See?
I mean,
she told you.
Between the two, Frack is going to say, between the two of you, she is the one that doesn't look like an overgrown iguana, so she's doing pretty good.
I just don't
Should
look
I
like
freeze him?
That's what's important.
I'm sure it'll be fine. I mean, he has a good point. You do look kind of like a lizard person, so.
Bleh.
Well, I definitely didn't take on this form to impress you guys, so. In
It's
any
a
case,
decent form, but I like
should we?
myself more.
Okay. So I'll probably just head back home. You guys will have some fun getting to your ship, right?
Oh, I guess we
Right?
could.
I was actually gonna ask you about that. If there was some way you could help us get there.
Yeah.
Hey, there's probably a few ways I can figure
whole
out how
mess
to
is
get
your
you guys
fault.
there. Actually, it's not, because I didn't know what was in the box. And technically speaking, it was your guys' captain's fault for dropping her off in a random spot. And actually, I could get you guys in trouble for stealing me.
I would say that it was not random in the slightest.
This is definitely not what I read in the books. But it'll do.
I don't think most of your books are quite up to date, Derry.
Well, I mean, living in the ocean versus on land, there is quite the time difference. And events, so.
Fair.
So you're not really sure which one's which because they look so much alike, but either Frick or Frack is going to say, so what's the plan? Do we swim out there, or do we wait for them to come into port and just try to nab them as they're coming in? What do you want to do?
What do you think, Princess? What you got in your bag of tricks?
Well, I could, if you guys are good swimmers, I could give you at least an air bubble so you don't drown. I doubt I can turn into anything that can help us get there.
An air bubble so we don't drown would actually be kind of useful. We could sneak onto the ship, take out whoever's on there, dump the bodies overboard.
How far away is the ship? Am
About
I
a
able to
quarter of a
tell?
mile out. They're staying pretty close to shore, and the way they're sailing it, they're not really going anywhere in a hurry. They're more testing it, making turns and coming about and stuff like that. It seems like they're genuinely trying to get familiar with the ship.
That's
They better be staying out of my fucking lab, I tell you that.
just like how you stayed out of my box.
That's different. Very, very different. I needed to know what was in that
okay.
box. And I was right, it was dangerous to the crew.
I hope you choke on a piece of bread, Goblin.
I'm more of a meat fan, thank you very much.
I do
I'll make sure to make
believe
that change in the books.
I do believe that they will go through every inch of your office. I believe it's the bathroom, but you know,
Damn it.
I'm sure they'll run through it.
Damn it.
So we should kill them before they blow up the ship.
Yes, we should. Yes, we very much should. There's a lot of chemicals that should not mix together.
Indeed. Do we have another boat we can reach them with? We could swim, but it might be a little bit difficult, considering it's a long distance, and you know we kind of need our energy to fight. Any other
I'm going to make a
ideas?
perception check. Anybody who wants to can make a perception check looking for other ships along the shore or any boats along the shore.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I think that's about 20.
Okay, yeah, you pretty quickly spot a fisherman who has. It's more like a rowboat or a canoe than an actual ship, but it's a decent size. He's pulled it up. He's brought a haul of fish in, and he's it's just like a net full of fish that he's slung over his shoulder and is walking off to his cottage, evidently leaving the boat untended.
Well, it seems like we might have a ship over there.
To the SS Crab Cakes. On the double.
We should probably ask before we use it, of course.
No. He's not gonna mind. Trust me, he's not gonna mind. People do this all the time up here on the surface.
Hey, if you'd like to ask him if we can take his boat for a joyride for a little bit to get a bigger boat, you know, you're welcome to. I'm sure he won't mind the question.
Locke, if you would please give me a deception check.
I gotta stop rolling this one dice here. God fucking damn it. It's a solid 3.
Oh yeah, she would notice that even passively.
Not only I can say with absolute certainty that based on what he just told you, you truly believe that the penalty for stealing a boat in this part of the world is death. Like he was that unconvincing.
Yeah, you know, I'm just gonna go up there. I'm sure I look enough humany enough. Maybe he'll take me seriously. So I will go talk to him. I'll be the captain of the group, right? It's fine. I got this.
Sure.
Is not the fisherman you wish to talk to.
I lean over to Ace. We're in a lot of fucking trouble here.
Yeah, but you know, she might be able to do something. Let's see how it works.
So Marina is gonna go to the fisherman.
All right, so you make your way up to his cottage, and am I correct in guessing you would knock on the door? That seems like the logical thing to do.
Yes.
Okay. So when you knock on the door, a woman who looks to be about his age and is presumably his wife answers and just says, "No, good morning. Can I help you?"
Good morning. My crew. Sorry that it's so sudden. Our ship was taken for a joyride, it looks like. I know it sounds weird, but I was wanting to know if we could borrow your rowboat real quick to get to our ship at least, and then we'll bring it back. In exchange, I can tell you about some really good fishing spots. I happen to know really well about the sea. Please?
We're from here. We know all the fishing spots.
Fair. fair. There's just some spots that are less dense of fish than others. Some fish think it's a graveyard because of the amount of fish that disappear in the area. So you have to rotate, you know?
My family have been fishermen for 10 generations. I don't, I don't, we don't really need any help in the fishing. You saw my husband bring in his haul. That's,
Yes, I did. Sorry. I'm just trying to connect with you in a sense.
so she's not hostile, but she's very suspicious. And I would say the rest of the party, maybe whether you're in earshot or not is up to you, but you can definitely tell the general contours of how this conversation is going, at least by body
You
language.
know what?
Ace, I don't think this is going well. We might just have to take the boat by force, or you go over there and fix this, or something.
So-
yeah.
You could always send Signa with their talking pocket
Yeah.
knife.
Signa is going to walk up to where this conversation is happening and go, "Look, I understand a people of the sea. We ourselves are merchants, and that boat is quite important to our livelihood. And if were we to lose our livelihood, and at that point purple flames are going to burst out in one of Signa's hands, then I'm afraid other people might lose their livelihood as well."
Jesus.
It's just
Oh
got
my
worse.
So
It's just got
the
so
fisherman had been making his way to the front door because he heard the conversation and was just generally curious about what was happening. So he walks up just in time to see this happen. And Signa, if you want to go ahead and make an intimidation check with advantage.
Why?
So that's going to be an 18 and a natural 20. I'm going to take the natural 20.
Okay, so they're just okay. Just take the boat. Just take. If you can bring it back, they're looking at Marina now. If you bring it back, we'd really appreciate it. We really need that boat. But just if you, yeah, just take the boat.
Yes,
It's fine.
yes, of course. I'm sorry. Sorry. And Marina is going to go back over to Ace and lock.
It
Let it
just
go!
looks. He just looks at this and he just goes, "All right,
Have I mentioned I'm from the sea? Like I spent a lot of my life in the sea. I'm not good at this.
normally threatening is not really how you get the good stuff from people. I mean, sometimes it is, but like, we'll bring the boat back. We'll have you bring the boat back. Not you." He gestures to Signa. Not you. We're gonna keep you away from them. I don't think they like you very much.
What, are you sure they wouldn't like to see my lovely face again? With a very crooked smile.
I don't
Yeah.
think so. Even thought I seemed intimidating, less welcoming, but you definitely took I think they would say the cake for that.
All right,
Right, yeah,
everybody.
so that awkwardness out of the way. Let's get on their boat. We'll leave the boat a little bit away from the ship as well. That way it doesn't get shot by any magic users on there. I don't really want this boat to go down, so he's not looking at his crew. Pile in, I guess. God, I feel so bad.
So everyone piles in. Now, this brings us to the next question: is as you're rowing out, am I correct in understanding that you probably don't want the other crew to really notice this boat full of people heading toward them?
Ace would probably say to Marina, hey, you have that fog ability, don't you?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you kind of want to use that, maybe make it seem like we're just a little bit of a weird foam wave on the ocean.
Yeah, I can easily do that. And she like perks up, happy, is like, yeah, I get to do something. And she'll just start forming her little fog cloud.
What is area that the fog cloud covers?
20-foot sphere. A range of 120 feet, if that matters.
Okay. So do you want to form the fog cloud around your boat, or do you want to form it between you and the other boat?
Probably form it between us and the boat. Don't know if
Okay.
they've spotted us already, but then we can just go into the fog and like kind of disappear in a sense.
All right. So the fog forms, and you will make your way into it. You can't see very well because it's fog, and that's the general purpose of it, but you are able to, since you know where the other boat is, you have a general sense of where you're going to get closer to it. You do start to hear some of the sailors on the other boat talking, and essentially sailors are superstitious about fog, especially fog that seems to be acting in strange ways. So they're not really, from what you can hear from what they're saying, they're not necessarily doing anything about it, but it's making them nervous. And you can even make out somebody asking the captain if they can head back to port. Now, do you want to disembark from your boat and swim the remaining whatever distance it is to the other boat, or do you want to just try to close the last dozen feet or so quickly before they have time to react to you?
Ace would probably try going the swimming route, especially since he can go under the water, make it less likely that they'll see him.
Okay. Ace has some kind of water breathing ability?
He does
Marina
not
would
at
go
the
bubble.
moment. She can bubble him, yeah.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, okay. So you're all in a bubble.
Before Ace does that, so that we don't set fire to the ship, I'm going to spend a spell slot, and I'm going to basically switch the Eldritch Cannon from flamethrower to force ballista mode.
Okay.
He literally has a small cannon mounted on his shoulder.
Cool.
This is more for flavor than anything else, but so when the flame roared out, I assume it was just a gout of flame. When it acts in force, will it feel any different to Ace when it goes off?
So Ace won't actually feel it because it's firing off a ball of force. But when it hits its target, it pushes the target back 5 feet and does 2d8 force damage.
Okay. All right. So you all are able to make your way to the boat using this air bubble. Is there a particular order that you want to get on deck?
That's a good question. I think Ace would probably be the first to get up onto the deck.
Yeah, and I'll follow right behind him and find a place to hide.
Okay.
I suppose I'll go next in the grand scheme of things as the glass cannon.
All right.
Yep, and Marina will be last.
All right. So everybody go ahead and make a stealth check, please.
Will do.
Going to be a 14.
Okay.
18 for Marina.
That'd be a natural
Honey,
1 for
honey.
9.
I swear.
Hey, I got a
what the
9
heck?
too.
Of course, the ones that go on first.
All right. So Ace and Locke, you're climbing up, and Locke, your grip slips a little bit because the side of the boat is slippery because it's been in water. And you manage to grab onto something to keep yourself from falling back into the water. Ace, unfortunately, what Locke grabs is the buckle of your boot, which causes you to loudly face plant on the deck.
Oof.
And so, Locke, you look over your friend who's kind of awkwardly splayed over the deck face down, and you're still kind of half over the rail. with now about 5 members of the crew looking directly at you. Now, Signa and Marina, while this is going on, you're able to shimmy up onto deck unnoticed and hide behind barrels or whatever is up there. And yeah. And
Okay. Can I get off something real quick before? Can I get something off real quick? Like a quick spell before they do anything.
so we'll go ahead and treat this as an initiative order situation. And since Locke is the first up who's able to act, we'll have Locke go first. And the order we'll do is Locke, then Signa, then Marina, and then by that time, Ace will have somewhat collected his wits and sorted himself out. So, Locke, go ahead and take your turn.
All right. So what I'm gonna do, when I see what I've got going on in front of me, is I'm gonna take a small, I have like a small button that I have on my chest, and I'm gonna slap that button, and it's gonna whir into life really quick, and I'm gonna be casting Thunder Wave. And I want to set the cube so that it misses Ace, but engulfs as many of them as possible to try and throw them off the boat.
Okay, so there are only I think I said 6 of them aren't right there on top of you, but there are 2 of them who are close enough that could work. And
Okay.
I believe
They
they
gotta
make some
pass.
kind of save.
It's a con save. They got to pass 15.
Okay, so they both fail, so they both wind up in the drink.
And bonus action. I mean, they both take 2d8 thunder damage. I don't know if that's even going to matter, but
Go ahead and roll it up, please.
that's 10 thunder damage.
Oof. Okay.
And bonus action, the cannon's gonna sort of like position itself so that it can fire off at somebody, and I want to push one of them closer to the rail so that they can be pushed off by something.
Okay, so I believe that's was it an attack roll and a saving throw, or one or the other?
No, it's basically an attack roll on my part.
Okay.
Here we go. Come on, baby. That's a lot better. That's a lot better. $23.
23. All right, so the one who was the farthest from you is also now in the drink. What's the damage?
That's 2d8 force. And he takes 15 force damage.
Okay. So is that going to be the total of your turn?
I mean, I'm going to use my movement to get up and maybe find a spot where I can get some cover.
All right, you're able to do that. You're able to duck behind a crate.
All right.
And Signa, you are now up.
All right. I am going to cast Mind Spike on the one near the ledge. So he has to make a Wisdom saving throw.
What's the number he has to beat?
13.
He does not beat 13.
Yeah. So he takes 21 psychic damage.
Jeez.
Lamb.
He cannot become invisible
Goodness.
or hidden, and it gains no condition advantages against me until my next turn.
Okay. Is there anything else you're doing this turn?
Oh, that's it.
Okay. And yeah, so this guy is just clutching his head in agony. And Marina, I believe it's your turn.
Marina is going to actually wild shape into a crocodile to kind of scare people half to death or maybe off the ship.
All right, so go ahead and make an intimidation check with advantage.
That'll be a 15.
So, of the two remaining who were on deck, one of them is going to rapidly back away, and the other one is just going to jump over into the water.
Just jump, 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 jump.
And is there anything else you're doing on your turn?
I'm going to do bonus action Bardic Inspiration on Ace, and you just hear chomping noises towards your direction.
I am so inspired by the chippity chomp chomps.
Chomp, 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 chomp.
Fair enough. All right. That's going to bring us to Ace.
Okay. So Ace is going to stand up from being prone, kind of looking at Locke and just going, dude. Before he's gonna pick probably the person who's closest to him, form out his longsword with his hexblade abilities, and then grab out his the Dragon Slayer longsword, which is nice. He's just if he can, use his movement to get up to whoever's closest to him, and just start absolutely pounding into him. The cannon creature on his shoulder, does that count as another person for sneak attack, or does it have to be like a sentient creature?
For the thing on, so if it was something like the dog thing that Locke had, I would count it for the thing because it's just like a spider or something and it's on you. I wouldn't, but since you're a swashbuckler, you get sneak attack anyway because there's nobody else around.
Ah, right. Okay. So in that case, yeah, he's don't go for the first person. Let's see what my dice want to say today. Ooh. So that's going to be a natural 20 on the first hit, and only a 15 on the second hit.
Both of those are going to hit.
Oh, sweet. Okay. So it's going to be... I forget, do we double the dice, or...
You can either roll the dice twice or roll them once and double the damage. I don't really care.
Okay, cool. So that's going to be 11 times 2 is 22, and then sneak attack is 5 times 2 is 10, so that's going to be 32. So it's 32 damage, and then his offhand just does another 5, so 37 damage total.
Okay, so yeah, this sailor is now a memory.
Ace was not happy about the fact he tripped in front of everyone, so he's making it real clear that he is much more dangerous than I face planted onto your fucking floor.
All right, so at this point, the everyone who was on the boat, the one guy is dead, and the others are have all been knocked overboard or jumped overboard. And a couple of them have actually started swimming back to shore because it's not an insurmountable distance.
Are they within range?
Yeah.
No survivors.
Okay.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, what are you planning on doing, boy?
I run over to the opposite side of the ship, and I swing the crossbow out. The spider bot jumps off of Ace's shoulder, skitters over to me, and mounts itself on the railing. And yeah, I'm gonna just start taking shots at each individual one of them until I can put as many of them down as possible.
Oh
All right.
no.
Marina, if you want to intervene in this situation, you can.
Yeah, I'm gonna gust of wind. I'm gonna tip over that gremlin.
Off the ship, or
Kind of tempting, honestly.
God damn it, guys.
Marina is going to bring her arms out. It's like, no, don't do that. And just this gust of wind is going to just topple you and roll you across the ship. Can't decide if you should fall over or not.
Is don't like look at you with
Okay.
kind of confusion of sorts. It's just don't go. Why?
If I quick cast using sorcery points, can I counter gust that gust?
Excuse you.
Yes.
You can. This is going to put your goblin friend, though, in a situation where,
It's a tornado.
yeah, basically.
Clashing wind.
So you do that, and Locke, at this point, you're going to need to make a dexterity saving throw.
Fine.
5?
Jerks. No, I said fine.
Oh, fine.
Okay.
Your first answer was better.
This is true.
It's a 12.
All right. So you don't get knocked prone, but you do get battered about by the sudden wind that's blowing you back and forth, which does foul your shot. So you wind up firing a couple of what are very effective warning shots to these terrified sailors who are now swimming
All right.
away as fast as their injuries will allow.
All right, fine. I'm going to do this then. You see me reach into the bag and you see me pull out 2 bundles.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm done fucking around. Let's see. Are they within 90 feet?
Yeah, they wouldn't have made it that far, but yet.
Okay. I'm gonna spend a sorcery point, and I'm going to twin spell catapult on 2 different explosive bundles. One's going to be a shrapnel bomb, and the other one's going to be an incendiary, and it's going to be there's going to be 2 explosives in each bundle, and I'm going to use my reagent dice on the shrapnel bombs, and I'm going to get an extra 2d10 to add on to the So, and I'm gonna pick a couple of these guys. I want to try and sort of combine. I want to sort of a Venn diagram of death and destruction at this point. And they both are going to have to make a DC 15 dexterity saving throw because I'm casting catapult on the bundles, and I'm just firing them off from the tube mounted to the bottom of my crossbow.
Right, one of them succeeds and one of them fails. The one who failed is definitely now fish food.
And everybody within a 10-foot. There we go. Everybody within a 10-foot radius of him also has to make that save.
God damn. Don't
If only I
piss
was
off the
still a freaking
explosive
crocodile, I would chomp you.
All right. So there are altogether 3 of the 5 who were trying to escape succeeded in the save. 2 were definitely gone.
Can I mind spike one of the ones that succeeded?
Jesus Christ.
Oh my gosh, I'm so done with
No
this.
survivors! You know how we do things!
The only thing
Alright,
Ace is looking at is whether or not the boat was hit.
All right, so you do that. You mind spike one of them, and you just immediately see him go under whether it was the psychic damage itself or the effect of the psychic damage, making it impossible to continue to focus on swimming. That guy's done.
And the ballista goes off too, taking aim at whoever's still surviving.
All right. Do they roll or do you?
I roll.
Okay.
Oh boy.
19 to hit.
All right. So basically you've dispatched the swimmers.
Good.
Is the boat okay?
Oh no!
Both boats are fine.
Oh, thank God.
Okay.
Ace like runs over to the edge, stares over, and it's like, oh, good. The boat's fine.
You know, we do need a rowboat. We could just take those people.
No, we are returning the rowboat.
Why?
So, Princess, feel free to take the boat back. We'll get this
We
boat in
said we
working
would
order.
return it. We didn't say when.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we could just come back
No.
later. and return it.
No. And Marina is going to freaking
Jump off
yeah,
the
she has a
boat.
rope on her. Yeah. She's going to hop off the boat, go to the rowboat, and attach a rope to it somehow. Wild shape into a dolphin and bring the boat back.
You're high enough level to have a swimming speed?
I'm gonna
Just this
allow
level,
it.
yes. Because
Is it
she
level
does have
4?
a swimming speed even if it's not dolphin form because she is a
Oh.
trident.
Okay,
Oh,
I didn't
that's
realize
right.
that's how that interacted.
All
I
right.
forgot the tridents have swimming speeds.
All right. So Marina, you bring the boat back to shore, and the fisherman and his wife have been watching this from a distance,
Oh,
and they didn't necessarily see a lot of detail, but they did see like splashes in the water and gore flying up. So when you bring the boat back to them, they do call out thank you, but they're visibly trying to keep their distance.
Marina won't even catch on. It's like, you're welcome! And then she's gonna go back.
God.
All right. So at this point, either Frick or Frack, you're not sure which, is going to ask you, Ace, if you would like for them to search below deck to see if there's anybody else down there.
If you could, that'd be appreciated. The rest of you get the boat up and working.
I'm gonna go with frickin' Frack. I gotta go check on my lab.
All right. So you and Frick and Frack all make your way down below, with Frick and Frack leading, both with, in game terms, they're short swords, but they're sort of not the nicest short swords. They're jagged, rusty, but look like they would really hurt to get stuck by. Anyway, they lead you down below. Your lab has been gone through, but nothing seems to be missing. It looks more like somebody who was just curious about what was there, was rifling around and looking at stuff.
Good. I need my notes.
And from the captain's quarters, Frick and Frack pull a man who smells rather strongly of the liqueur that Captain Gorm kept a bottle of.
That asshole.
So, Locke, you're the others are up top right now. Marina's swimming back, and Ace is up top, and Signa, as far as I know, is still up top.
Mhm.
So you're the only person seeing this person right now.
Does it look like between the three of us we could drag the body up top?
You could. It would be quite a chore because this person is an orc, so they're pretty big.
All right. I'm gonna tap the thing in my ear and message up to Ace. Ace, send one of the big guys down here and you come with him. We got a stowaway. He drank the captain's liquor.
Captain's not gonna be happy about that.
I'm gonna tell you this right now, buddy. You're captain now.
Well, and I'm not too happy about my liquor being drank. He's still start heading down.
All right. When you get down there, you actually recognize this orc. This is the orc who, when the ship was boarded, he was the one who knocked Captain Gorm down.
Oh.
Oh no.
Useful. All right. He's gonna kind of stand over a little bit. Is he like barely conscious, kind of conscious, drunk off his ass?
He's conscious and he can talk, but he's definitely feeling it. It's the kind of a sloppy, staggery kind of drunk. He's physically comprised enough that a couple of small folk were able to drag him out of where he was against his will.
Ace just gonna kind of lean down and kind of slap his face a little bit. And he's like, "Hey, buddy, boo, buddy, boo."
That's not
What do
intimidating
you
at all.
want? What are you doing here? Do you understand the penalty for piracy of a royal ship?
Yeah, except that this is A, our ship, and B, every single one of the people on this boat is currently... Hey, Locke, what would you consider it to be after someone gets hit with one of your bombs? Shrapnel? Pieces?
Chum.
Chum.
The shock bait.
Yeah, so all the people on this boat are now shark bait inside of the water. And if you don't want to be either, I would deeply suggest you tell us where the captain used to be, or I'll just give you to Locke, and let me tell you, he'll put a bomb down your throat, and we'll see how that works.
So
I always wondered what theory bombs look like on the inside.
He struggles a little bit, but either Frick or Frack punches him in the head, and you realize that these guys, for as little as they are, they hit a lot harder than you would think. And so he gives up pretty quickly. He's going to say, look, I just turn in the prisoners. Somebody else sorts them out. They decided your captain was going to go to the mines. Mine is inland. I never saw him after that.
Where's inland? Is it like the prison that we were sent to, or did you drop him off somewhere else?
I left him with a wagon master who was going to the mine, which is, I think, about 10 miles inland. I don't really go there, so I'm not that familiar with it.
Well, that kind of guarantees that he's at the mine then. Well, thanks. Now, unfortunately, you did drink all the captain's liquor, and let me tell you, that's kind of a no-no on the ship. Usually, captain gives you the liquor. What do you think we should do with you, sir?
A swim to clear my head. Why don't we do that? I'll go for a swim, and I can tell everyone I meet how powerful and fierce, but also firm and fair you all are. How merciful you people would cooperate.
It's cute.
Sorry, that person is currently swimming back.
Well, that sounds like a lovely idea. How do you think you could fare if we tied like a cannonball to your leg? Do you think you could swim with that? I think that's a bit too heavy.
So at this point, his face and everything is just going to drop as he sort of realizes his predicament, and he's going to stop trying to talk his way out of it.
That's what I thought. Now, I am willing to let you go, my good sir, on one condition, and that condition is very, 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 very simple. The condition is that you are very, very good at informing people that we don't take your bullshit. Now, your friends are fish food, and I do apologize for that. That is, unfortunately, my friend's specialty in this matter. We don't particularly like dealing with people who start taking us because we're doing something we were paid to do. So that's not something I suggest you do again. If we ever do see you again, by the way, we will shove several bombs down your throat, tie a cannonball to your leg, drop you into the ocean, and then watch you explode from down under. For now, we're going to let you go, and if this comes back to bite us in the ass, we will find you. We will hunt you down to the very ends of this ocean, and I'm fairly aware that you can tell we can, and we will make you die in the most painful way possible. So, I suggest not fucking up your only one chance. Okay, buddy?
I don't know, boss. Dead men tell no tales.
True. But alive men tell the best of scary tales. How do you think most of the pirate people got their fame? Have you heard of the boat, the ghost ship that comes by every now and again? If everyone died who saw the ship, who could inform you that we're dangerous? Or more importantly, that we shouldn't be fucked with if we get our money? I
You're the
want my
captain.
money. And if they fuck with me and don't give me my money, they're gonna end up like his friends. But if they are fair and they give us our money, and they know that we're dangerous, they'll be like this, Buddy Boo, and they'll get one chance to live. Isn't that right, Buddy?
Exactly, Captain.
Alright. So, you're free. We'll just let you jump off the edge there and swim back to wherever you want to. And again, if you try having the whole of your army hunt us down, we'll kill you personally before we die, just so you're aware. So, don't send people after us. Just spread the word that we really don't like it when you fuck with our territory. Understood?
Understood.
Alright. Thanks, buddy. Frick frack escort him to the edge. Don't kill him. Just want to make that clear. Want to be sure that he's able to tell the tale of the Morning Star and its crew.
So Frick and Frack are both staring at you very wide-eyed, and it takes a moment for them to snap out of it. And finally, in unison, they say, "Yes, Captain," and they escort the guy away.
Alright.
So when he's brought up, can Signy see him?
Yeah. So what you see, you don't know what happened below. You just see Frick and Frack escorting this somewhat battered-looking orc.
Captain,
Okay.
should I message up top?
Probably. That might be a good plan.
I'm just gonna move to the edge to watch him get thrown overboard.
All right.
I'm gonna message to Signa. Listen, let everybody know Captain's letting this one go.
Okay.
Now, it's an interesting conundrum for Marina because you didn't see any of this happen. All you see is someone who's not a member of your crew jumping off of the boat. So, from your perspective, this looks like someone who's escaping, and you don't know what happened prior to him jumping off. So, it's up to you how you think your character would react to this situation.
Is he? I'm assuming he's trying to swim away.
He is, and he's actually a pretty strong swimmer.
Marina
Wasn't before
is.
he is.
Huh?
What were you saying, Marina?
Oh, I don't know if Marina would probably still be in her dolphin form, or her trident form, anyways. So she'll probably just pop out of the water for a second and say goodbye, and pop back into the water.
So after Marina does that,
Bit of
I'd
a
like to
jump scare.
So after Marina does that, I'd like to subtle spell a mind spike on him.
Oh my god.
All right. It's wisdom save, right?
Yep.
What's the DC?
13.
He succeeds.
Okay, so he only takes half damage.
Jesus Christ almighty.
First thing that popped in my mind is like, no, I don't want to do any harm to him because I was going to do vicious mockery. And it's like, no, she wouldn't do that. Then this happens.
Okay, so that's going to be 10 psychic damage.
All right.
Ah!
So, Marina, you're in the perfect vantage point to see this guy scream, grab his head, but then recover and keep swimming. And he makes his way off toward the shore. And I'm going to say you go ahead and you see that the fisherman
are
is
watching?
inspecting his boat just to see any damage to it. When he sees somebody swimming in, you see him wade out and pick this guy up and help him in.
Okay. I go back to my ship.
All right. So you've got the boat back. There are still provisions on the boat, and the boat itself isn't damaged because there was no battle when it was taken. What do you think you all would like to do next?
I'd like to regroup with our new captain to find out what's going on.
I'm still down
Yeah.
in the hold with him.
So he'll probably making sure nothing
Should we
else is
talk
kind of
to
fucked up
quarters?
inside the area. He'll probably start heading up top.
All right. So it's a clear day. It's mid-morning. You have your pirate crew, so you're capable of piloting the ship wherever you want to go.
Mhm.
And also, there's not going to be anybody after you right this very instant, but regardless of what you said to that orc, sooner or later, someone is going to ask him what happened, and the local authorities probably won't be ecstatic about it.
Probably not. So you'll look at the general crew, and you'll look at his team. You go, all right, folks. Our captain, captain, is inside of the mines, as well as probably a couple of the other crew members. So we'll circle around and get there eventually. For right now, we have no real heading. We have no real mission. We have no real destination in mind, aside from circling around a little bit. And it's very likely that eventually authorities are going to kind of find out what we did to the fish food down there, and that's not going to be too good for us. So, where should we get going?
So the options that are the most obvious to those of you who have spent some time above ground or above the sea are the further but also safer option is a place you know is the City of Cowards or the City of Traitors. It's a place called Targus, and the legends of it aren't really that important right now. What is important is that because of the disgrace on its history, it's a place where essentially bad people congregate to do bad things. And it's a place where nobody's going to be bothered about a pirate crew putting into port. Targus is several days away, and it's several days through potentially unfriendly water because, again, you don't necessarily have a solid time frame for when the Sargassians are going to find out what happened and what kind of force they're going to send after you. So whether or not you are able, whether or not you can make it is hard to say. There is another option, and that is a place that in its ancient past was known as the Forge, and now known as the Tomb. The legends vary somewhat as to exactly what happened there, but there was some kind of dark magic that was enacted. So it has become a gathering point of people who practice dark and questionable magic. Cigna in particular, you're going to know that worshippers of the old gods sometimes congregate there. So you might be able to arrange a welcome upon arrival.
All right, so at this, Signa is going to speak up and say, well, I happen to know of a location that would be welcoming to us. The tomb, as it is known. I have associates who we could render assistance from at a significantly reduced cost, and because of my pre-established connections, it would probably be a lot easier for us to plan our next move there, as opposed to, what was the other one, Targus?
Targus, yep.
As opposed to Targus, where we are just as likely to be pickpocketed as anything else, and no real chance to get our feet out under us again.
Sounds like a good plan to me. We'll go to the Forge. I have a couple of folks I can probably call upon for favors inside of Targus itself if we need to go there. But we'll go to the Forge, see whether or not we can wait out this little passage for a couple of days for whatever force that might be sent against us, and then maybe make our way back into the mines, go down there, try to save our captain if he's still alive, and see what we can do down there. So, anyone opposed to going into the tomb?
So Locke and Marina, I'm just going to give you a little bit more information about what the tomb is. So and even Marina's character actually would have heard of this place.
Mm.
Basically, there was a very profane ritual that was performed there to free a fallen angel. And as a result, the main city itself has been abandoned, but more like on the outskirts at the docks and so forth is a kind of outlaw village has been set up. There's no law and order there apart from the locals. Now, that being said, any magic, any pleasures of the flesh, any shady connection you want to make, you can probably make it at the tomb.
Wait, is Targus the place that had the bone pyramid, or not? Targus,
Oh my gosh,
No,
I
that's
was
the
just
forge,
thinking
yeah.
about that. It's like, wait a second.
Yeah,
Forge
Yeah.
was
Mhm.
indeed the bone pyramid, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The birthplace of Thorn. Good times.
Streets of bacon.
God. The oil.
Oh.
As much as it pains me to say, I think the elf is right. We should go to the tomb first, and then lay low for a little while.
Well, from what I understand, that place isn't the greatest. Personally, I would rather avoid it. Based on the stories I heard from the past, a lot of bad things happened that birthed the place, so personally, I'm not too keen on going. But I
I'm
am
sure they're
outvoted.
just stories.
Not to worry, with my connections, I can assure a safe passage. Though it really is a shame you let that man go. They do love human sacrifice.
Yeah,
a good night.
so I can recall. A lot of the
Huh.
stories that I read are pretty close to reality, so
You know, Ace, you're a human. They love you.
Yeah, I would rather not become a sacrifice. Think about, we could bring one of your bombs, shove it down their throat, and then use them as sacrifice. They might be enjoying that.
I'm
You get to
guessing your
watch.
decision. I'm guessing your decision is going to be to go to Targus then, huh?
Not to worry, the human sacrifice is purely.
Well, an optional sacrifice is the best kind of sacrifice. So let's head on to the forge then. Bearing in mind that if someone tries to kill us after you've made your lovely connections, we'll probably kill them. But I'm sure that'll
That
be
is
fine.
entirely understandable. And blood spilled on unhallowed ground always good.
I
Some freaky gods,
I
man.
don't know about that, but I'm still wary of this place. We should
Well,
still.
we're
Yeah.
pirates. Weary places are the places that the law won't go to, which means it's perfect for us.
I guess for you guys.
Well,
So
you've
it's at
joined
this
our
point
crew, so
that
now you're a pirate.
it's at this point that a very grizzled half-elf pirate is
Mhm.
going to stop what he's doing, and he's just going to move over and say to Marina, "Look, your concerns are absolutely understandable. I've been to that place, and I mean, and you're right, it's pretty gnarly, but look at who your company is. You all seem to be pretty solid, right? You're pretty tough, and you got a whole crew of us backing you up. Nobody's going to look for a fight with an armed group this size." And he's in particular going to look to Locke, Ace, and Signa and say, and these three in particular, like, I don't know you guys that well. I'm not trying to assume anything, especially to you, Captain, but what you can do is pretty impressive. Nobody's going to be looking for a fight with this crew. And he's not really going to wait for a reply. He's just going to go back to what he's doing.
He's gonna kind of look at us as he goes back. He's like, "Well, you'll see. I do appreciate people who are, you know, kind of nice. What's your name, Mr. Elf?
My name is Drago.
Drago. Good to meet you. So yeah, no one should be able to pick a fight with us, and if they do, we'll just kill them. And honestly, we might even get like a cargo mission or something, get some money under our belts. Yeah, eventually our
Gotta-
name will spread, and we'll get even better pay. Or we'll get people
We gotta
trying to
get
kill us, and then we'll just steal their shit.
We gotta
At
get this
that,
Drago fellow a raise, but
I know,
then
right?
again, we don't have a salary system, so just get him a better percentage.
At that, I'm going to turn to the rest of the crew and start shouting orders.
All right. So the crew fall into line and seem to accept that you're in charge. And you're pretty fortunate as far as you can tell. Most of them, maybe not master sailors, but they all seem like they've been on a boat and generally know what they're doing.
Mhm.
So as it gets on toward the afternoon, you're making pretty good time. You know that it's going to be a couple of days to get to the tomb. And as it gets on towards sunset, at some point, I think Ace is going to be in your travels. Just at some point, you'll look out toward where the ship is going from the prow of the ship. From behind you, you're going to hear heavy footfalls.
I'll look behind me.
Right. So you immediately notice two things. One, everybody around the person approaching you doesn't seem to notice them. The other thing you notice is that you definitely know this person. This person is a tall, very weathered looking, but well-dressed sailor with a sword and dagger in his belt. And the reason you know this person is because they're your patron. This is a physical manifestation of Davy Jones walking up to you.
He'll nod
How do
to
you
him.
react?
Yeah, you'll probably like nod to him and kind of look at me like, good to see you again.
And you, I'm told that you are heading toward the tomb.
Indeed. We're heading over there, try to lay low, make sure that the authorities don't get us too quickly. Is there anything I can do for you while we're over there?
Yes, I do have a mission for you. You were transporting a certain cargo that you decided to let off at port.
Captain did, yeah.
Are you familiar with the significance of the cargo?
Not particularly. I know she was a princess of sorts. She was being transported for some reason or another. I'm not really sure on the details, to be honest with you.
She was being transported to her home country. They had demanded her return, or it was going to plunge them and their allies into war with the city where she had turned up and their allies. And it would be the greatest conflict since the collapse. I ferry souls to the other side. When the collapse happened, I could not keep up because there were so many dead, and I suffered dearly for it. And then I suffered many years of virtually no one on the seas, and I hungered painfully. At this point, he's going to lean in and he's looking you directly in the eyes. And something you're going to understand is that despite this being having a personal connection to you, this being is ancient and has roughly as much regard for you as the sea itself has for any given fish. And he's going to say, since it was your crew who let her go and have caused this situation, if she is not returned home and this war happens, I will blame you personally. And he's going to cast a glance over your crew and say, and them too, especially the goblin.
Yeah, I would blame the goblin too, but that sounds like that sounds like something I don't particularly want to happen. Do you know where the lady is?
She is on land. She was supposed to have been taken back to her home. She did not make it there. Her home is the city of Troyanoa. The city where she was kidnapped to is the city of Spathen.
Hmm.
So if I were you, make port at the tomb, restock your ship, gather whatever information you can, but then I would strongly suggest turning your efforts toward the city of Spathen because it's likely that they captured her again. And if she isn't returned in a timely fashion, then it will be war.
As you wish. Once we set down, I'll see if I can get some of my contacts to see if I can find any information about her whereabouts. I'll go to the Toboggan City and cast some more nets around, see if I can find the little fish.
Talking, and he's going to say, I am aware that most of the crew here were not involved in the decision to release the princess, that it wasn't their fault, that they can't help be held to blame. And then he's going to reach out and grab you by the throat and say, don't think that means that will buy them any mercy or that I won't make you watch. And with that, he's going to step over the prow and just vanish into the water.
Whew. Well, at least I know his deal now. He's just gonna like straighten out his collar and turn back to the front of the ship. He's gonna probably do like a tap on his ear and just go, could you guys wake up some of the crew, come up to the front, wanna have a little bit of a talk before we hit land in a couple days.
You got
So-
it, Ace.
All right. So the four of you assemble at the front of the ship, and what is the captain going to be telling the crew here?
Yeah, so Captain's pretty much gonna kind of like speak up a little bit so people can hear him. He'll just go, all right, so once we hit down at the tomb, I want anyone who can to be searching out some supplies. We gotta restock the ship, and I also want you guys to be aware our previous cargo was extremely important, as it turns out. He's gonna kind of look at Locke at that statement, and so now there is a little bit of a threat hanging over our head. If she is not returned to her place of birth, I suppose. Which was it? Toboggan was, or is that the place that stole her?
Troyanoa is where she's from.
Troynora.
Spathen is where she was taken to.
Mm-hmm. So she is not returned back to Trogonora. Then there's going to be an all-out war of cataclysmic proportions. And let me just tell you, the man under the sea does not enjoy the idea of that, and he will take out on our crew because he doesn't like the idea of being hungry for God knows how long. So, we're going to do our best to find her by searching out as hard as possible. We'll touch down inside of the tomb, fill up, and then head onwards to sorry, I'm forgetting the name again. Trogonora and what?
Spathen.
Spaggen. And we're going to head
Spaggen.
over to Spaggen. Again, search out some of our feelers, throw out some nets, try to find little fish. Go and give a description of the princess. If we can find her and return her, we'll be good. If we don't, well, the sea is a very dangerous place to be, and we live on it, and it will be hunting us. So, best not to have that happen. Alright, crew? Alright.
Ah, yes, it's like you guys should have listened to me.
Not to worry, my gods will protect us probably.
Mm.
Actually, they seemed a little mad at me the last time we talked.
Well,
Signa?
that's warming.
Signa, you're going to hear a very subtle voice in the back of your head saying, "No, we won't."
Okay, I'm getting just in breaking news. They will definitely not protect us. They've just informed me that they have no interest in this. In fact, they might actually want it to happen just to feed blood flowing into the oceans.
So, should we not go to the tomb then, since your gods or friends on the other side don't want to see you? Or do want to see you?
Well, we still need to resupply and get better equipment and the like, so I feel like going to the tomb as an intermediary before we circle back around would be a good idea, personally.
I feel like there are plenty of better places to go to than there for supplies.
Yes, but on the other hand, the place with the most, let's say, uncouth folks, will often have the most information about people who don't want to be found.
I guess.
Well,
So onwards
you
to
know
the
me.
tomb.
You know me, Ace. I'll follow you.
Oh yeah,
I'm
Locke.
the captain.
You'll definitely follow him with a trail of explosions and things you shouldn't really get into.
I'll be honest, it's quite useful. Except for you opening the box. That's currently plaguing my existence. But, the bombs were useful.
Ah,
Well,
yes,
you
and
know.
we should just have the princess disguise as the princess.
I mean,
You guys are such a
Yeah.
smart crew. No.
Yeah, you did do that weird disguise self thing, you could do that again. We can
Could
just
just
put you in
be.
there for intermediate time. You could pretend that you're her for the rest of your life.
Ah, yes, and
You-
then you'll have to deal with the ocean actually going after you. Friendly
Sounds-
reminder, I'm a princess of the freaking ocean. Thank you
Ah,
very
yeah,
much.
that would cause another war, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, don't do that. We're gonna find the lady. Frick frack. You two seem pretty good at, scouting and stuff like that. Do you know anything about the tomb?
Yeah, boss. We've been there a couple times. What do you need to know?
Is there any place that you can get a variety of information from that is semi-reliable? I assume most of it's not reliable considering, blood sacrifices and all that, but...
No, people get pretty talkative right before their sacrifice. They start telling you everything you want to know. Right about the time you put the knife, and just as either Frick or Frack, again, you're not quite sure which. Right is about the time they start to get into a little bit of excessive detail about how a blood sacrifice is performed. They're going to notice some of the looks they're getting for people. And just going to wrap it up quickly and say, yeah, so you can get reliable information there.
Cool. Well, you two be sure to get whatever information you can about the princess. The rest of us will be loading up the crew. I'll search out some of my nets, see what we can get, and then we'll spend a day or two there, get information, restock, and everything like that, and then we'll be off to the other city.
Sounds good, Captain.
What about the rest of you? Any of you guys particularly good at finding things, or are you guys more on the stabby scale?
So the rest of the crew are a lot slower to respond. And the Drago, the older half elf who had spoken before, says, I know a few people, Captain. I can help you find out a few things.
That'd be useful. All right. So we'll have you three go out and throw your nets around, and then the rest of us will stick to the ship, try and make sure we got all of our stuff. Lock, you'll be able to refill easy as can be there. If you need any money, let us know. We'll pick a job up. If any of you are particularly good with finding a job, be sure to do that as well. We'll see if it's on the way. If it's not, we'll pick up when we can.
So one of the particularly weaselly crewmen is going to make his way over to you, and clearly not wanting everyone else to overhear, he's going to say, "Yeah, I know of a score we could take down, Captain. But might take a day or two, a little bit of risk, but it'd be some gold."
Risk is us for the sea, so gold is what we shall get.
So with that, you will make your way pretty uneventfully through the night. And the next day, you find yourself approaching the ruined city formerly known as the Forge, now known as the Tomb. And what you see as you enter the bay, there are actually petrified wreckages of very old ships, that are obsolete, but that were destroyed before they became obsolete, hull breaches and things like that. Sort of left here as a. Seems like it was in some way the people who live here intentionally want to have only a certain kind of company. You're able to see the ruined walls of the city, ruined more by time than anything else, with these rough shanties built up against them, and people living right there. Almost the entire settlement is sort of ringing this bay. It's getting to be nightfall as you get there, and as the lights of this place light up, it has a very haunted feel to it, which is not helped by the fact that a lot of the people who live here are pretty openly staring at you from the windows of their homes. And that, I think, is a pretty good place to leave the session for tonight.
All right. So, hopefully you guys
Nice.
enjoyed this. If you guys did, feel free to catch us every week on Mondays at 3 to 5 p.m. PST. That's when we go live for this series. We might be going live in about 2 hours or so with another series called Jump Chain. It's a homebrewed campaign my brother is running. So if we do that, he has a migraine at the moment, so I'm not sure if he's going to be doing that. But if we are going to be doing that, feel free to catch us in about 2 hours. I'll let you guys know in our Discord. It's also a place where you guys can see all of our different events, all of our different, pretty much everything we have up, as well as our monthly calendar. And on our website, on that link tree, you guys can see our weekly calendar as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. We'll see you guys next time. And go check out Benny at AutisDM on TikTok. All right. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.